Chaos erupts as Otis collapsed after Maxine Dupree and the Vision brutal attack. Somebody get a stretcher, because Otis just got dropped so hard that even the announce table flinched. That is right, folks, WWE Raw turned into a full-blown crime scene this week when the Vision decided that a tag match was not enough, and instead delivered a beatdown so vicious that Otis is now officially listed as out indefinitely. Before we dive into the wreckage, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell, because Wrestling Rush News is here to break down exactly how a lovable big guy from Alpha Academy ended up flattened against a steel ring post. Let's rewind the tape, because this betrayal did not happen overnight. This has been building like a slow-motion car crash for weeks. Maxine Dupree, once the heart and soul of Alpha Academy, spent the last several episodes drifting further and further away from Otis and Akira Tozawa, cozying up to Austin Theory and the Vision like a woman trading in a reliable pickup truck for a flashy sports car that is definitely going to break down on the highway. Back on July 13th, she made it official, standing in the ring as the newly crowned Vision Queen, pushing Otis away in front of a stunned crowd while chants of "You sold out" rained down from the rafters. Otis, heartbroken and humiliated, still tried to protect her, insisting Theory could not be trusted. That is the wrestling equivalent of warning your friend about a guy right before he pulls out brass knuckles, which, spoiler alert, is exactly what happened next. And if you thought that was rock bottom, think again, because the Vision does not do subtlety. This past week, tensions boiled over one more time when Alpha Academy demanded a shot at payback against Braun Breaker and Austin Theory, the reigning World Tag Team Champions. Otis and Tozawa put up a real fight, trading blows like two underdogs who refused to read the script, but Breaker's superspeed spear ended the match in a little over 8 minutes. That alone would have been a rough Monday night. But then the real horror movie began. Picture this like a heist gone wrong. Theory and Breaker turned their attention to Tozawa after the bell, and Otis, ever the hero, climbed to the top rope to make the save with a splash on Theory. That is when Maxine Dupree stepped in, not to help her old friend, but to distract him just long enough for Theory and Breaker to catch him with a double powerbomb. As if that was not enough punishment, Theory held Otis in place for a spear from Breaker, and then, in a moment that made the entire arena gasp, Theory grabbed a steel chair and drove Otis into the ring post with it. This was not a wrestling move anymore, this was an execution. Think of Otis in this storyline like the last guy in a horror film who keeps trusting the wrong people because his heart is simply too big for his own good. He wanted to believe Maxine still cared, and the Vision weaponized that loyalty like a loaded gun. Later in the show, Byron Saxton delivered the gut punch update that Otis is officially out indefinitely, which in wrestling terms is one of the most serious injury angles WWE can run, right up there with a legitimate medical emergency in terms of dramatic weight. Now let's talk about why this matters beyond just one bad night for Otis. The Vision, despite dominating headlines, has actually been dealing with some serious behind-the-scenes turbulence, from Bronson Reed's ongoing injury to losing Paul Heyman's guidance while Brock Lesnar occupies his attention elsewhere. Adding Maxine Dupree to the group and using her personal history against Alpha Academy is a calculated move to re-establish the Vision as a legitimate threat, and if we are being honest, it worked. Nothing gets a crowd fired up quite like watching a beloved underdog get betrayed by someone he trusted with his whole heart, then get physically wrecked for good measure. Here's the real kicker, though. This entire angle plays like a soap opera wrapped inside a demolition derby. Maxine gets to have her cake and eat it too, playing both sides of sympathy and villainy depending on the week, while Theory gets to look like the cocky boyfriend who finally proved he was the bad guy all along. Meanwhile, Otis becomes the sacrificial lamb whose injury storyline conveniently clears the runway for the Vision to focus on bigger fish, possibly even setting up a future confrontation once he returns for revenge, because in wrestling, nobody stays down for good, especially not a fan favorite with this much unfinished business. So where does Alpha Academy go from here? Akira Tozawa is left standing alone, Otis is on the shelf, and Maxine Dupree has fully committed to being the woman who chose brass knuckles over friendship. The Vision, for all their chaos, just proved they can still deliver a gut punch of a storyline when they need one, and this beatdown may end up being the turning point that finally gets fans taking this faction seriously again. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.